Today's episode is proudly sponsored by Hellbender Vinyl. For those of you that don't know, Hellbender is a vinyl record pressing plant located right here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, doing high quality, professional, top of the line record pressing, baby. We finally got one here. There aren't very many in the world, let alone the country, and to have one right under our nose is an insane resource. So if you are a musician looking to get some stuff pressed to wax, I highly, highly recommend checking out the folks over at Hellbender. Tell them Sykes sent you. I've always wanted to say that. Without further ado, let's get into today's episode. Sit back, relax, and let's start the beats. Does everybody have everything they need? Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yes.
Got your beverage?
Yes.
In your brain?
Yes, always.
In your seat?
Mm-hmm.
I was going to try to think of another B word.
Oh, that'd have been cool.
Is there a word? Is there something that you sit on that begins with a B? A booth, but this isn't a booth. You could sit in a booth. You could sit in.
I don't know. We're sitting on the beat though. We're in the group here.
Yeah, we're sitting
we're
in
on
the beat. Hell yeah.
It's a vibe.
We've started. Thanks for being here. I love throwing people under the bus. Sorry.
It's
Hello.
fine.
We have started the episode officially. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to our program, the one and only Mia Z. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
This is exciting. It's an honor.
Awesome. So for anyone out there that is not familiar with Mia Z, you are an artist, a singer, a producer, a human being on planet Earth.
Yes, I am. I'm right here.
Am I missing anything from the resume?
No.
I mean, we'll get into the nitty gritty.
Yeah, no, that was a great intro for that.
Of course. Yeah. So you not only do those things, but you have been doing them for many years despite your age.
Yeah.
It seems like you got a pretty young start.
I did. I feel old even being 26 now, but like it's like every day I'm like, am I old or am I not? Like I guess like age is just a number, but it's like such a blessing because we just get time to like be and to live and to create. So I'm like, yeah, that's just what it is.
And it's funny because like you'll see people where an artist might break out that's young and it's like this person came from nowhere and like 9 times out of 10, if not 10 times out of 10, it's like they've probably been doing this since they were like 5 years
right,
old.
Exactly.
So it's just like, what do you think?
All that time.
Do the math, it works out. So, I mean, getting started in making music, entertainment, that's that's a lot of weight on the shoulders of anybody, especially like growing up in it. Do you think that like growing up in it has made it easier, or is it hard 100%. To even see that?
No, it's been I mean, it's just part of like my life. I never saw or did anything different, like with my grandparents being in it and then my mom and my uncle and just being around it day in and day out. Like it was in our dining room. We have keyboards all through the dining room. It was just everywhere. Yeah. So growing up in it was that's just part of our life. You know, it was like just waking up and eating breakfast. It just was a thing that we did and that we had and that we were, given to enjoy.
Totally.
So
environment is like such a huge part, I think, in being able to accomplish anything. I mean, there's 2 things that I feel any person needs if they want to accomplish something. One is passion. Like you really have to want to do it genuinely. And the second thing is environment. You need to have an environment that is accommodating to whatever that passion is, because those things can really be like oil and water if
Absolutely.
Don't match up.
That's so true.
That's cool that you had a nurturing environment to start this journey.
Yeah.
So
it was like I was like not even like thrown into it. It was just like when you see your family in it, it just becomes part of you. And I wasn't like forced into it either, because some people are like, oh, I went and took like piano lessons and vocal lessons. Like I was like nowhere into any kind of lesson or learning. I was like, if it doesn't come naturally, I'm not into it.
Sure.
So like just being able to be gifted with it in that sense, but also to be around my family that supports it but never like pushed me because I was a competitive cheerleader. I was into like all the gymnastics, all that fun stuff. And then I like didn't want to go to like the rehearsals and sit and learn songs, but I went with my mom because I had to. And then I was like, I like this. This is fun. Like live instruments and,
Yeah.
just the whole energy.
Well, again, like with environment, the easy metaphor is like if a kid hears a grown up say like a bad word,
Yeah,
they're
right.
going to say
You're
the
gonna
bad
say-
word.
Yeah.
So if you're around people and you see them doing creative
Right.
things, naturally it's just gonna be like, this seems really cool.
Yeah, this is it.
So like in terms of any sort of like artistic or creative expression, where did it start? Did it start with singing and voice or somewhere else?
No, I think it started with my sister's like about 10 years older than me.
Yeah.
And I just looked up to her for everything. And then obviously like just the three of us in the household with my mom and just like fashion and art and competitive cheerleading and makeup and music on at all times. It was always just like this feminine, we love art and just being and, expressing that. So I would have to say it started just being around like my mom and my sister and then different genres of music and being open to all of it. Like my mom would have Pink Floyd on, but my sister was listening to like Rihanna and Lil Wayne. And I was like, I love both of these. And I don't know. So just being able to be around that, I think allowed me to identify with whatever I just like pulled from in different ways. And then I was like loving Amy Winehouse at 7 years old. So I was just like, whatever was around me, I just like scooped up and just basically ingested to just become this.
Totally. And I think when you're, you're a product of a time frame where like the internet, I imagine, has been accessible to you for like your entire life.
Pretty
right?
much.
So with that access to information just comes so much experience and so much stuff to absorb, like a sponge of sorts and at your own will too.
Exactly.
It's not always like the way radio or TV might be where it's like you're hearing what we want you to hear when you want to hear.
Right.
With the internet, you have the flexibility to kind of go off and find your own weird little corners of the world.
And mine was like mainly just my mom and my sister because I just like looked up to them for everything. Whatever they did, I wanted it. Like, so it was just, and then obviously now I have my own, I put my own twist on those things, but I don't know. That was just like such a blessing growing up to just have them and still have them in the sense of I just artistically learned from them, I would have to say.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So we fast forward to now. There's a lot of stuff that happened in the in between, which we can get into.
Yes.
But currently, you have been continuing to release music.
Yes.
You have a pretty prolific Spotify catalog of albums and singles and remixes that span a pretty impressive demographic of genres and things, which isn't surprising given all of this, where it started and where you're at now and just kind of being able to do whatever you want to do. But, what is it now that is allowing you to continue to have like that passion to keep doing it?
I would say the freedom to be able to, wake up and be like, hey, I'm going to sing about this today, or I'm not going to sing at all. Or maybe I love this genre, that genre. I think it's just the freedom to be able to do it. And not because it's something that I have to do, not being signed to a label. I've always been independent. So it's just like no pressure. This is like, all has to be organic for me and authentically like created. And being able to record at home in my own space now and having that ability, it's just allowed me to open, vessels that I maybe wouldn't have in the past just because it's there and I'm able to.
Sure.
But I think it mainly comes down to being just able to express whatever I'm feeling and not having to be like, hey, I have to feel this way, do this thing, do that thing, vocal produce it this way. Like I just do whatever I want.
Yeah,
so it's like kind of like a scary place to be because once you do have to collaborate with people again, it's like, I don't want to sing that, or I don't want to say that word. And I already kind of push that to the limit, even with my mixing and mastering. When I send it off, I'm like, there's not enough reverb. Like I just am so used to being able to just do what I want that's what keeps me passionate about it, I think, because I don't have anybody telling me what to do.
Yeah. I imagine that, being in an environment that has allowed you to just be so flexible would make it really hard to collaborate and work with other people. But like I relate with that so much because it's like my work is my work.
Exactly.
And like why there's definitely power and great experience to be had from working with other producers.
Yeah, and I've
But
done that.
sometimes it's like, well, are we making a Mia Z song?
Right.
Or are we making a
Mm-hmm.
XYZ
Right,
song?
for
you know?
this kind of genre and
yeah.
this type of reason. That's just where it became like, and I'd have to stand up for myself even at a young age in those rooms because they would be like, well, you're young, you don't know what you want yet. No, I know what I want. I always have. I always did. I didn't struggle with trying to find my identity in music. It was just, hey, these are things I'm not going to say. These are things that I am going to say. And like, that's just like part of any kind of relationship. So I think collaborating has opened and pushed, and it grew me to places and to limits that I never would have been on my own. So I never would like, ignore that. But being able to like just use all of that knowledge to where I am now, it's been such a blessing and a help. But I'm also like, I think I can do this on my own. Like, I think I can just vocal produce my entire song by myself, backgrounds, harmonies, this and that. And now that I have, and I've learned, and I've learn from some of the best, which I'm super honored about, but to be able to just do exactly what I want.
Yeah.
And not have to like question it. And even like, I'll like play it for my mom and my sister and I'll be like, this isn't like finished, but I'm like, I'm not going back to fix it. Like this was just in the moment. This is how it was. That's what you're going to hear on Spotify. So there's no me going back and like recutting these 3 words. Like, no, it's just going to be whatever I felt in that moment, that's what you're going to hear.
That's really important. And I think that's something that, especially in modern times with what's capable via technology that we have, is that it's so easy to make everything perfect, but it really strips away the human element.
Right.
And then the risk that you run is of like neglecting that this piece of music right here is just a reflection of where I was on this day and this time. And like, your voice is going to continue to change as you age because you are, for better or worse, still a human being.
Yeah, right.
And like technology is only going to be able to do so much to like retain that.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
You just kind of have to be present with that moment and just like, this is what I sounded like today.
And I'm like not afraid of that either because it's just, okay. Like this is, you wake up one day, you don't feel as pretty, but you put a little makeup on and you're like, okay, I feel better, but I don't feel like I did last week. So it's just like people just narrow down music as this thing that it has to be one way, it has to be that way, or it has to be no way. It's art. Yeah. It's just like a gift to give, and who cares how you give it? Just give it.
I think there's too much weight put on art and music in general now as a result of things like, I guess, the internet. This may be one of the more murky sides of things because you start attaching things to art that have nothing to do with art that are more business related. Your numbers and analytics and all of this. Just
like I'd rather quit.
But again, it's just like, this is a reflection of where I'm at in this moment. It's a real authentic piece of art.
Right.
And this is it.
Right. You can't force it either.
This is what I did.
Yeah. You just have to be like, it has to be allowed. And then people will like relate to that too in those moments. And like, they'll see it as, hey, this is what she's posting about. This is what she's not posting about. Like, I'm like not consistent in that sense because again, I'm not going to force some like fake, persona of what I'm not, like even on social media. Cause like that is just the other thing that's just been defeating me in the last, like, I would say 5 years. Like I didn't get on TikTok. So a lot of people wouldn't work with me. And I'm like, I'm not budging. Like, I'm not going to budge my art, but I'm not going to budge my morals if I don't want to post like different kinds of things on social media just because you think I should or because other people, it's just, I just never had that conviction to do it. So
yeah, the concept of like an individual being needing to be basically a brand is something that has always really rubbed me the wrong way. And I understand it. And I think it works for some people that maybe genuinely want to be that.
Yeah, definitely.
But like, that has never been me. It's like, I just want to make art and music. And like, I don't need the whole world. I don't want the whole world to know what I'm doing every day. Or to be like doing all of these weird things that have nothing to do with the art itself.
Or your life. It's like...
I have a lot of friends that are in the music scene on various levels.
Right.
And the thing that I always feel anytime I see them starting to get some sort of success on the social media side of things, I feel like their like identity is getting stripped away from them in a weird way. And it's because it's all about like following trends, but trends that you're not setting. You're just following everybody else's lead.
Right.
And all of a sudden it's like, well, where are you in all of this? You know, like you're spending more time recording like, what if so-and-so sounded like so-and-so?
I haven't done that yet.
Like,
I was like this close to doing it. I'm like, I'm not. I'm just not. I'm like...
but I mean, like, that's the thing is like, there's no right or wrong answer because like I've seen things like that are genuinely great.
Exactly. And I'm like, I like this artist for this reason. But yeah,
it's so just, tough.
It's weird doing it yourself.
You really just have to go with like what feels right in your heart.
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't feel right, I think people will see that.
Absolutely.
And then you're wasting your time. And their time when you could have been putting... I'm wasting
like a whole outfit in a reel that I could have just like used for a show. Like I get so annoyed when I'm like, I didn't even get that many views and I picked my best, like my mom made this jacket for me and I'm wearing like, it's just, you just have to be authentic in that. And I think in this day and age, in this world, like I didn't grow up with that. So I was just a live artist. I performed with a band and everything was live. There was no recording. Like it was just authentically like face to face. We're going to all connect in this room. There's no phones. There's no nothing. So, and, you know, seeing my grandparents do it in a big band, like they're not concerned about what reel's being posted tomorrow. Like that's just not the way the world was. So I'm a little stuck, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, like spiritually in that and physically and mentally. And I think that there's like maybe going to be this turn in like the music industry. But I at the same time, I'm not going to be concerned about it. I'm just going to keep doing what feels, you know, peaceful and what feels correct for me. Because otherwise I'll just get in my head about it. I'll just be like, I don't know. I don't feel like, and then I don't feel like doing it. I'm like, that's not me.
There's another conversation to be had when talking about these things that is a little bit more deep in terms of like, how much do you as a human, not as an artist,
right? Exactly.
But as a human, how much do you need?
Right.
Like, where is,
what's the goal?
Yeah. Like, what are we working towards here? And like, I think sometimes it's so easy when you are getting caught up in the business side of things to lose yourself in that. And like, I've been in a position where like things worked out for me in a way that I wasn't expecting. And I was like, whoa, like this is cool. Great opportunity. Yeah. Let's go with it. It's not what I was planning. It's not really me. Right. But hey, you know, it is some financial security and opportunities to do great things. And then all of a sudden it's like, wow, you know, a year and a half later, it's like, I've never been more lonely or isolated or like, I'm just disconnected from like everything that I had, friends, family, all this stuff, just chasing some thing. Right. And it's like, okay, well, what is any of this really worth to me now? What is it? Yeah. Like at the same time, it's like very bizarre. Absolutely. So it's like, what do we need as people? Absolutely. And I think about that every day, like not just as an artist, like you said, but as a person, as a being, like working a day job and going through my life and having my family and my sister and my mom and caring for like everything that's not even music related. And when I was in these moments and these deals and these situations, like that was all they cared about was what's the chase, what's the hit, what's this going to be, where's the money, where's that? And it never even like really got into my mind because I was like, this is all fluff at the end of the day. Like they know it, but they're still in it because they have to be. It's like, you know, it's part of their journey and their story and that's where they are. And I respect them for that. They've worked hard to get there, but I could just never let it fully consume me. So I think that's really been a reflection on my art and where I am, you know, in my career as an independent artist, because I just never really could consume certain things that maybe would have gotten me a little further or in different places. But I also, if I didn't have peace about it, I just wouldn't engage with it. But I mean, like you said, being in deals and getting there and being like, this is great, but I feel lonely. Like, thankfully, I always had my mom with me because otherwise I don't really know who would have had my back through it all or would have believed that I like was actually sitting in these moments. Like, it's just crazy because like we sit there and we're like, nobody would believe us if we told these stories because it just seems very just wow, really? And we're like, yeah, like that happened. And I don't share it often because I don't think anybody really like, would they care? I guess maybe, but at the end of the day, like I'm still standing and I'm still grateful for what I've been through. But it just comes down to what do you want and what do you need as a person? So 100%. I don't ever forget that. Yeah. I mean, it's like, you know, there was times when like things were working out for me in different ways and people knew about it because it was in the world, right? And like it changed the way that like people that I knew for a long time, the way they were interfacing with me was different. And it just felt like I wasn't myself anymore.
Right.
And I didn't like people knowing things that I didn't tell them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, I'm so used to my world being a small place, even though like I have this podcast and I make music, but it's a different thing.
It is.
You know, where it's like people like start like
crossing
a
like, line.
Where are you going this weekend?
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh God. Like,
don't worry.
I kind of am like simultaneously I'm like upset or feeling isolated, but also want my privacy to remain intact.
Right.
It's like, you can't have it all.
No, for sure.
Like, well, damn, like what do I want?
Right.
What works for me?
Right. And it's a balance in that.
And people always have like this different idea, unless they've been in it to some degree, of like what it's like. It's so easy for it to come off as being like very like glamorous. And like, sure, maybe to some degree it is, but it's still like a lot of work and a lot of just a lot in talking to people.
It's just life.
And working out
like,
things.
Right.
It's like, it's pretty boring.
Right.
Even in some of the higher spaces.
Different levels of that.
It could be just like, I don't know. Because again, it gets businessy.
Oh yeah.
And like, I don't know, my brain's just not built for it.
I'm not a business. And that's one thing that it matters in the end is the music business. So I'm always like, well, I guess, but no, it really is.
Sure.
Like I always try to like deny that it's really not a business. Like it is. I just didn't see it. I never saw it that way.
Well, especially now with like everything that you need in order to, like, I guess like depending on what type of level you're trying to operate on,
right?
You need a team,
right? Oh,
and like I've had countless conversations with people on here that are like me and you, where it's like if we have a team, it is tiny.
Right.
It ain't like what other people have.
No.
And people are like, I don't understand how people do this. It's like, well, they're not doing
they're
it.
not.
They
There's
just
5
have
other people.
a team, and they've been able to convince enough people to pay for this team, and hopefully it all clicks. Because if it doesn't, bye-bye.
Everybody's mad. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
And that's just been like part of my story too. Like there'll be like a group of people that are my team and then it kind of fades away or just people disagree or I don't know, nothing happens or they don't know what to do with me. And that's fine. So that's why it's always being like an independent artist. Like you really are independent. Like it's you and you.
Yeah,
you know, and the few people that you have in your circle.
You know, I don't know all of the nuance of your story, right? Of course.
Right.
But what I can imagine, you know, at least situations that I've been around, is it feels like there are people that want to work in the industry, but don't actually want to work. They just want to be in the industry.
Right.
And there's a lot of like people wanting to find something that is already clicking and then they want to grab it.
Sure.
Rather than like actually like building up this brand of an artist.
Right. Which used to be more of a thing. And I feel like now it's just kind of gone away. Like as far as people building an artist. It's just like if you have a great reel and it gets 1 million streams, you're great. Then you're locked. Like you're in.
Yeah.
And then I don't know how to relate to that. I don't know how to I can't be in that space and I can't get my passion to go there. So again, I've lost a lot of relationships for that reason because they want to be in the industry using something that's already working, that something's viral on already. And I'm just like, oh, I don't even know what my Spotify numbers are. I feel
I
like post music every month. Like, I don't know what more to do.
I feel like there was a time before all of the social media where it's like, hey, like we have this artist that's really great and maybe it's not working right now, but we don't have access to another artist. So let's put in the extra juice to make this work.
That's true.
Rather than like, just like going on their phone and being like, well, let's find the next one.
Right.
You know what I mean? You have all of these like A&R people basically using TikTok as a talent Tinder.
Oh yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
Yes, no, you know, and it's disgusting.
That's true. That's really true.
It sucks.
It's just not for me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So you are self-recording stuff now and producing stuff. I'm curious now, like what your process has been like in terms of just like putting ideas for music together, because you are releasing music very regularly.
I am. Yeah. Yeah,
So
just
like,
about every few weeks. I've kind of backed off because I'm like, I can't even keep up with like my own promotion on the last single that I did. Like nobody even knows it was out because I posted it once. So it just, I mean, just going through life and just pulling through different experiences that I see others go through and that I experience myself, and literally just pressing record and singing about them. And that's just where it starts. But obviously getting a beat from, wherever, whatever makes me feel something, I'll sing to. So if it doesn't give me any kind of emotion, I'm like probably just going to turn it off. It's not even going to get a chance. But
so you're in a sort of a creative pattern now where it's like finding the music to kind of like
right.
paint the landscape
Absolutely.
and then find a mood to fit that.
And just literally going for it.
Yeah.
And if it's not, I'll just redo it. Delete it, start back over. But there's no it's weird because there's no like, I don't want to say there's no effort, but there's no like tension to try to write a song at that point.
It probably feels, you mentioned it being like freeing before.
Very.
And I imagine too, it probably feels like maybe too easy because of how the access to recording probably wasn't the same, right? Like needing to go through all of these hoops and things to get into somebody else's space.
That I like hate when I'm there. I'm like,
they're going to tell you what to do, how to do it.
Right.
Change this, change that. And it's not your song anymore.
That's true.
It's like there's a lot of time that's saved when you cut out a lot of that stuff.
Absolutely. And even like just being able to just sing whatever I want, like whatever words, whatever flow, whatever melody. Like I don't want to have to, well, let's do this here. Let's not. Like, let's just whatever we feel,
it's funny how in some ways when you have the freedom to do things on your own timeline, it seems like that would be a recipe for disaster in terms of like, well, you just won't do it. But again, if you have the passion and that environment of being able to, things get done way quicker.
Quick. Yeah.
Way quicker.
Yeah. And I get like one day off a week from my day job. And like, if I'm not in my studio, I feel guilty. And then midnight will come around. I'm like, I'm in the mood to sing now. I think I'm going to like cut a song and it'll happen. Or like, so it can't be like forced either. But when you do have that environment, like you said, you can just plug in and go. So it's been such a gift, like a blessing when I think about it this way, sitting down and talking about it. Cause I'm like not expressing it, on the daily, but people are like, oh, do you making any new music? I'm like, every day. Like it's just, it's happening. So
what,
good.
if anything, okay, I need to ask this question first. In terms of self-recording, how long have you been self-recording?
Just about like a year.
Okay, so
it's
super fresh.
Yeah, like I just like got Ableton Live. It was free with my like interface, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to learn this. And I don't like to learn things. Like if it takes effort, I'm not into it. It has to come naturally.
I don't believe that.
It's true. Like I don't enjoy it.
You seem like you've learned a lot.
I have, but just how to like record and I like don't like to. I use the free one, so I don't have to stack as many vocals. So I like just play the game and like delete things out and put things in. But if I actually took time to learn it a little bit more, I think I'd be, able to mix my own songs at this point. But I don't have an interest. I just want to press record and sing. So, but it's been like 2 years now. But I've like cut probably over like 100 songs on my own doing it. And I recorded my mom and my uncle on stuff. So like I'm learning guitar, bass on there, getting into it. But it's been fun, I think.
I'm really curious, if anything, if from self-recording, what have you learned about your voice that maybe you never realized prior to having the access to record, listen to isolated tracks, and really review what you're doing?
Probably.
I mean, granted, you've been in a situation where your voice has been recorded a lot throughout your life.
Right.
But being able to like actually do it yourself.
I would have to say just honestly becoming more comfortable in knowing that I know what my voice can do and like standing firm on that. Because even in like, sometimes I don't push myself to where I'm like, oh, you don't have to like hit that note if you don't really want to. But like I should, like in other situations, it'd be like, no, like do it again and like do it full out. Where now I'm like, oh, you don't have to sing it full out. It'll still be good. And that's like not true. It's just like not as good. So I'm like trying to like make myself think that I don't have to do as much work because I'm doing it myself. And like I can just turn myself up and not sing as hard. But I'm learning that I like to push myself on my own. Whereas like I really didn't before. And if I don't have somebody there telling me that I don't have to, I'm probably not going to. But now hearing it back, I can hear the difference that just do it full out. Like,
Yeah.
don't be lazy about it.
No,
Or
no.
like just because you can sing, but
Yeah,
like I see myself skimping on that.
the human voice is the most dynamic instrument on the planet. It's insane how much of a story that can be told with just this silly thing that we all have, right?
Yeah.
You know, the flaps in our neck, not to get
Open
all
up.
disgusting in anatomy about it, but
It's
you know,
true.
it's all
Yeah.
weird little things doing stuff that are creating this beautiful thing in the world. And I think that being able to it's a lot easier to realize that you're not doing something right when you're telling yourself you're not doing it right. Because I could be kind of a combative person. So even if I know something isn't right, if somebody's like, that ain't it, I'm going to be like, screw you.
Me too. I'll defend myself to the end where I'm like, in my head, this is wrong, Mia. You should just like let it go. And I'm like, I'm not. I'm just going to ride it out.
And there's also too, a very nice flexibility of being able to, like, if you're not in the headspace to maybe hit that note or get this part today, you can always just kind of shut it down.
You can. Yes.
And step away from it.
Yes.
Instead of feeling that pressure of like,
right.
I'm only in LA for 2 more days.
Yeah, absolutely. We have like a 5-hour window. And I used to get 3 songs done with Ryan Toby. He'd be like, we have 5 hours. We're going to get 3 songs done. Finish from front to back. So I was like conditioned for that. But again, being at home and having that freedom, I'm like, I can wait. I could probably just like eat something and then get back to it. Like we didn't eat. We just pushed through. And I'm like, I'm starving. I don't want to do these harmonies right now. So it's a blessing to be able to do it just at my own time and just convenience and freedom. And it's not like I have like the nicest mind. I mean, I just have piddly little things that just help to amplify what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely.
So it's cool.
And you don't need that much. You can do a lot with very, very little.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Don't believe the hype. You don't always need the nicest things. And
the eyeball. I was like, I need that eyeball. And then I was like, I'm not getting that eyeball anytime soon. I have a windscreen that's like 25 years old. It'll do. As long as I don't pop my peas, I'm good.
Yeah.
But this is like little thing. And I wasn't even using a windscreen. And my engineer's like, do you think you could at least just put one up? And I'm like, why? For what? Do I really need it? And he's like, it would help my life and make it a lot easier on me. And I'm like, again, I was just stubborn, like, no, like, I don't want to use a windscreen. It's just me in my room. So, like, little things like that I'm like, I have to put the windscreen there. And then it just gets in my way and I get annoyed or I'm not in the mood. And then I'm like, just leave it there, Mia. But so it's just like silly things. And I'm like, I have to put this up. I have to do this right if I want to release it on Spotify. So it's just been learning that and sticking to it and not trying to get in my own head. Like, you're fine. Like, no, do it.
Sidetrack real quick. So we were talking about being hungry during recording sessions. I'm curious from your perspective as a professional, if there's any food that one should avoid eating before singing from your experience.
I would have to say like any kind of nuts, like almonds, like cashews, like it's just a mess. You can't get nuts out of your teeth.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. Like, it's just, and then if you don't have water, you don't have a drink. I never had water, never brought water to it. Just never did. And I always was hungry and my mom would have nuts. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like you could choke on them. They get stuck in your mouth. Like it's never a good. And I did a music video one time with a whole peanut in my tooth that nobody told me about.
Oh no.
Just throughout the whole video. So like nuts, just like, I'm just like, no. If it has to do with singing in music videos, we're not eating nuts. It's so embarrassing. So I was like, Mom, you didn't see that? My videographer didn't see it. Nobody saw it. I was like, it's a big, like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. Sorry that happened.
So no nuts.
Outside of recording in the booth, is there like a favorite food, a go-to Mia Z staple in terms of food? Like if you were going to get like a, not to brand you, but if you were going to get like a food, like a weird brand food sponsorship, what would you want?
Well, if I had a Sheets closer to me, it would just be Sheets, like all the time. Like I am Sheets. Like you want to meet me, we're going to Sheets. You want to see me, we're going to Sheets. You want to hang out, talk about music, we're going to Sheets. People like should just know that by now. Like, where do you want to meet? Is that a question? So I would say anything Sheets related, or like a quick like gas station. But I like to like walk, so I don't like to be Like if I am going to record and then like I want to take a break, I want to like walk somewhere and then get a snack and come back. Cause I feel like I did that in LA a lot. So I just want that experience again. So I just do it at home, but it's a little bit farther because I live like in the country with nothing. So I have to walk to Leechburg, cross the bridge and get a snack and come back. But I'll make my mom go with me. So we make it we just make it happen.
Yeah. Do you find that like having that separation from maybe being in like, I guess we'll like say like a less walkable, less busy hubbub type of environment, such as like in LA, is that like better for your brain as a creative or a human being in general?
I think it has pros and cons, because being just out in the middle of nowhere, like you can't come down in the city and just like feel that feeling that you do when you're here. So being in the country, literally like with nothing, it still allows you to connect with, nature and just like really face yourself. There's not much you can like look at. There's not people walking down the road. You can be like, oh, her outfit's cute, or it's not. Like there's nobody. So you just have to like face what you're feeling. And I think that's allowed me to creatively just open up and be free about it, or just like not be into it at all, just be able to have a clear mind and to just, honestly, I'm always facing what I'm feeling. So being in the country allows that, with nobody to talk to, nobody to like rub off on or be like, hey, how are you? But working a day job, that's like consistent. I'm always around people. So I do like having my own, little backyard, nobody around, peaceful. Just the trees and me.
Yeah.
It is nice.
Space to just kind of.
Yeah. No, it's cool.
So we talked a lot today about recording music. I'm curious to talk to you a bit about your perspective on performing live, and like how often these days are you performing live, if at all?
Right. No, I haven't. I mean, I grew up performing live. So at 8 years old up until now, I've always performed with a band, never did karaoke, never did tracks. It was just always live musicians. So, but lately, because I am just releasing music and different musicians are in different bands, they're in different groups, a lot of them want to be their own artists. I can't expect anybody to, be dedicated to me if I say, hey, I have a 3-hour show we got to play and you need to be here. Like they all have lives, or they have families, or them, so performing live lately hasn't been as much as I would like. But when I do get a show, it's necessary, it's meaningful, and it feels right, because I don't like performing for 3 hours, just covers, being background music. I never had to do that, and I don't want to do that. So for me, it's just been, a gift to have a show and like 2 hours, meet these people. There's a crowd there ready to accept the music and to be open to it and to relate and to feel and to vibe. So lately I haven't, but I do have some random shows that pop up here and there that are like, okay, this feels right. Because just performing to perform just doesn't set right with me, I think.
Yeah.
But I'd like to perform more. I used to, having a full band, but it's hard for me. I'm not out in the scene all the time to find these musicians. So I'm always like, well, I can't do it. But I have a core group of people that, are super talented that I can reach out to that'll do it. But I don't have anybody like set that I'm like, this is my band, which I miss. I miss having that.
Yeah. It's because I was like thinking about just the general energy that I'm getting from you, where it seems like you really value genuine human connection.
I do.
And value being able to create and foster relationships with people in the real world, not so much the digital world.
Right.
The digital people are important in their way.
They are. Yeah.
You can't put everything into that.
Absolutely.
So it's like, well, how do you do that? It's like, well, it's just like perform as much as possible.
Exactly.
Perform to perform. Just do it.
That's true.
But I completely understand like the difficult nature of it in terms of like finding the people that are going to help you do this.
And I can't expect it. I mean, I've been blessed like tremendously with different musicians that have stepped up and done it for me. And it's always just been like, that was a sick show, no matter what.
Yeah.
So I think I miss that. I think just being recording and releasing, I'm starting to feel that shift kind of turn where I'm like, I'd like to perform these live. Like I'm ready to do that. And to physically, emotionally, spiritually connect with these people face to face, like you're saying. So when I get the opportunity, I'm like, oh, let's do this. But then I also like pull back because I'm like, is it right? Like, is this the right crowd? Is this the right setting? Is this the right, where are we at? Like, is it a bar? Like, why are we doing this?
You never really know.
No, that's true.
And I've been in that position a lot because like I play in a couple different bands, and it's tough when you get opportunities for shows because it's like, yeah, I want to do this,
Right.
but I'm like the degenerate. Like I don't have like like a family or children or any of these other responsibilities, like crazy jobs and things like
For
so. Sure,
sure.
let's be like I work, I do things, but
Yeah.
I can set aside the time because like I want to do this.
Absolutely.
For other
Absolutely.
people, it's hard to be like, hey, like, can you find a babysitter, convince your wife to let you do this, to like so we could go, play it, drive
2
an
hours
hour
away.
up to Greensburg to play this
It's
like
true.
show.
It's true. And a
and
lot of them
most
are
the
like
time-
full-time musicians, and I can't expect them to like be free when I say, hey, I have a random show in June, but they always come through. So I'm grateful for that.
I think that it's like everybody wants that, I think at least the people that I work with, everybody is in it for the same thing. Everybody wants those opportunities. They want to make it work.
Definitely.
And, and I think about something like this past weekend was the Millville Music Festival.
Yeah.
And I played 2 sets this weekend and it was great, and then talking about like, you never know what's going to happen. Right. Like, so one of the bands I play in, we're a heavy metal band. We headlined main stage on Friday night. And it's like, why? I can't believe they even let us do this because like, we're just a metal band.
That's so cool though.
But it was a blast. Right. And it was like so many new people and like, selling a bunch of stuff. It's like, we only played 45 minutes
still,
but it was like a really great opportunity. And then I played at Mr. Small's last night. And it was also a really great opportunity because it was like a free festival, a lot of people, 40 minutes, but like we're selling a bunch of stuff. And these are all people I've never met before.
Right.
And it's like, that like there's so many little things like that are happening around here.
That's true.
That I feel like somebody like you should just be like taking advantage of.
For sure. And I haven't
because it's a great way to meet people.
Exactly.
It's a free resource. You don't have to,
Exactly. That's so true. And I feel like, I had such a presence like right after The Voice too, and before The Voice playing with my full band that I'm like still like holding on to like what that felt like. And I think I just have to like let loose and be like, hey, it's not going to be exactly like it was. It's going to be a little different, a little new, a little fresh. And just to embrace that rather than be so like, they're not going to really, I don't know. Like, who am I that they were going to book, for what reason? But I mean, I think once I get in those settings and those moments and the shows do happen, that it clicks and it makes sense, and I feel like that's where really my passion comes, and surfaces to be a live performer. I'm not just somebody that just I didn't grow up recording. I grew up like performing live. So I think it's just spiritually like draining to just keep recording and keep recording and keep recording and not perform shows. So I do have a show coming up, but I'm just like, once that moment happens and like I feel that again, what that feels like to be with live musicians and just in a crowd and just there in that moment, that it needs to just come on, Mia, like keep it going.
No,
it needs to work.
No, absolutely. I think that, even, wow, this is work. It's just you. Where am I at? The computer doesn't even want to look at me anymore. It's sick of hearing me talk. What I was gonna say? Oh, so aside from like your feelings and like just needing to be around people, I think listeners too want to see people. Like they want to see you and realize like you are a real person.
Right.
I could go into a room and sing.
Right.
I think a lot of people that are just like passive listeners of music are exhausted with the amount of options that they have.
Right. That's true.
To listen to, like you can't change the ecosystem. It is the way that it is, but it's really annoying to me as an independent artist that I have to funnel all of my stuff through the same channels as, fucking Kendrick Lamar and Katy Perry, right?
Yeah, it's
like
everybody.
Good for them. But it's just like, it's like, oh, if I'm posting about my new single on Instagram or whatever, guess what? So's Drake.
Yeah.
I'm posting my new music video on, it's like, guess what? This is like, it's all funneled together.
Right.
And like, I even get pissed when I see like celebrities doing podcasts now. It's
like, stop. Yeah, literally. Literally. Like, can you just do what you're doing and I'll do what I'm doing? Yeah,
like trying to like, don't. I mean, there's plenty of celebrities that have great podcasts.
That's true.
But it's just the thing is like, everybody is, if you want to get gross about it, we're all fighting for attention.
Right. And
we're fighting for time.
I know.
And like, you only have so much time. Like how many people, it's like we do an hour podcast here and anybody that listens to this, they've committed an hour out of their day
It's a
to
lot.
listen to us talk. That is
Right.
insane.
That's what I'm saying. Like even 15 seconds on Instagram is too much for people.
It's hard to get people to listen
I
to
know,
a
I get
damn
it.
song.
I get it.
So
I
now
get it.
songs are getting shorter and shorter.
Right. And I have like a 5-minute song coming out, and I'm like, I don't care. If you don't want to listen to it, don't listen to it. I'm still releasing it.
But it's just like, so yeah, I wish
and I
there
don't
was...
have that fight in me
Yeah.
to like to try to like fight to be the first person on stage, or to fight to be like, and even on being on The Voice, it was like it's a competition, and I don't see things that way. I didn't perform that way. I don't feel that way. I don't musically entertain that way. So I think when it comes to like those opportunities, I'm like, well, if there's other 50 bands on there that get it before me, oh well. But at the same time, just feeling like, hey, I'm doing this for music. It's not because I want that fight or that chase to be before somebody. But I think it's just because we're all here to create and to give that art and as a gift, and just to like just utilize it. And I think that's just like re-inspiring in a way.
Yeah. It's
true.
It's just wild. Just like everybody's doing stuff.
Everybody,
so it's like the only way I can like come to peace with it as an individual is just be like, well, I need to be thankful for this opportunity and this moment today.
That's so true.
Now, and like however the world interfaces with it, like that is out of my control.
Always.
You can throw several zeros at an ad campaign behind something, and if there's no heart in it, it's not going to matter.
Right, that's true.
And but if you have something, if there's plenty of things that have heart that just take off on their own, it's like really, you
special.
You can study algorithms and try to figure out some way to game it, and it might work out once or twice for you, but it's not sustainable.
Right.
I feel like the only way to be sustainable, like I genuinely just want to create stuff until I can't anymore.
Absolutely.
It's never been like a business move for me.
Same. Couldn't relate more.
I'm curious, talking about your experience with The Voice in terms of just like the age that you were when all of that happened.
Yeah.
And if you feel like that would have happened if you would have been on The Voice like now, after like making music for 10, 12, however long it's been, 15 years, right? If your perspective of how you would approach it from like a strategic perspective would be different.
Well, I think because back then I was 15. We didn't even have, we had no Instagram, no Twitter, no nothing. Like we had to create Twitter accounts for us to be like saved on The Voice. So I was like, oh, okay. My mom doesn't have a smartphone to vote for me. Like who in my neighborhood is going to be able to, they like called in. I was like, okay, thanks for all your effort, guys. But like now I don't want to say I didn't care then, but I didn't care then. That I don't think I would, I'm still the same being. So, but now I don't even know what would have happened.
Sure. Maybe it's not a conversation about not caring or caring.
Right.
It's just like when you're that young, your perspective of like how things
does this
are
work?
Socially heavy things are is way different because, you're 15.
Right. And I was like on live television singing the blues, and I was like, oh, okay, like this is my life right now. It was really organic too. I mean, it wasn't nothing, although my mom submitted me and didn't tell me, and that was like a fight to get me there. But, and I went, obviously, and it turned out to be such a blessing. But I think just in that moment, knowing that like I'm just singing the blues on live television, and that was just like all I knew in that moment, and just all that I wanted to be there for. And it was just sincerely because I enjoy singing. And nothing else really mattered other than like I loved all the glam and like getting my hair and my makeup done and the fashion. I was like, this is a vibe. So that was just in itself what that was. But when it comes to knowing what I'm supposed to feel in those moments, I was just there for the ride. I was like, I'm on The Voice right now. This is where we're at. And having my family there and going through that process, working with Pharrell Williams and him to just give me the advice, hey, just keep being you. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, this is my life again. Like, it feels surreal still to know that was me at 16.
Sure.
In some ways.
Yeah. It's like, the thing that is always fascinating being an artist and continuing to be an artist over the years is like how many different lives you end up living so quickly.
Right.
Between like different projects or experiences like The Voice or even just like putting out albums or songs. It's
absolutely.
like they're all just, you have these weird recorded receipts of different eras of your life in a way that like isn't normal people, I don't want to say normal in like a derogatory way,
No, for sure.
people that aren't creating music or creating art in some way.
Won't
There's
know
no
what
like
that's
receipt in that way.
Yeah.
But I could go back and be like, oh, like that time of my life, and it always connects to like some artistic project that was with it.
That's true. And it doesn't change. Even
Yeah.
like when you're in the new day of it, it's like I remember it like it was yesterday, like recording those songs and like just posting about it being like 10 years. I'm like, that doesn't even feel like 10 years. Feels like it literally feels so new still.
Sure. And that's another human thing too, not even a creative thing. The longer you are alive, time just gets quicker and quicker and quicker. It's like wild to think about like something like COVID being 5 years ago.
Wow. I released an album during that too. I like and I felt guilty because I was like, we're in a pandemic. I'm not going to release music. And they're like, let's still do it. It was like the plan. And to think that like that'll happen during it was wild.
Yeah.
Wild. Insane.
I noticed there was like maybe a tiny gap in your creative resume around that time frame, which is probably pretty understandable, all things considered.
Right.
Because I guess this was prior to you self-recording.
Right.
So if you were going to be recording, you need to be going somewhere to record. And it wasn't really like a go.
Right. I went through some like bad deals at that time. And I was stuck in some things that like I just couldn't really see my way out of. And just having a lot of music trapped in that time with certain people and producers and writers and A&R and just things that weren't lining up in the sense of, hey, the numbers aren't going up, the funds aren't going up, but we have this great music that we have to just let sit here. And that was like so defeating to me. And I was just like, I refuse to move unless the music comes out. And I didn't move. I sat there creatively for a long time, being stubborn in that way, but also because I was stuck. I was stuck in that time with those deals and that period that felt really like just waiting, like, oh, something's going to turn. Like I'm going to get that phone call. It's going to be like, no, we're going to release this. We have this person behind it, this team, this fund. And I did it again, independently. Like I flew out there for all those years, but I'm still holding on to the fact that music will see the light of day. So it was that time period of waiting, still making moves, flying back and forth, recording still. And then I came to like a conclusion that, hey, I'm writing these songs in these rooms and they're not coming out. Nobody gets to hear them but me on my phone in the car. And that's fine. But is it? Is that okay?
Is it, going back to a conversation of time, is it worth your time to be, you only have so much time on this planet as a human being. So is it worth it to be making music for somebody else?
Right. At that time,
I mean,
but no.
you always there's always like a very tiny little light at the end of the tunnel.
That's true. That's true. And there's a reason for it all because it has turned, it has moved, it has shifted. Relationships were mended. Things happened that like really wouldn't have without that time. So time it's on our side in a lot of ways, but really just praying every night, like, all right, God, I don't know what to do in this situation with this music, with my musical life, in the sense of having to let go of what I thought was going to be my future to it being never coming to be. But I still refuse to like give up on it because I know that music will see it. But again, with time and learning that and going through that and growing through it, there was so much to just be thankful for at the end of the day. But it's still painful.
Yeah, I mean,
to go through.
It's there's like
it's like 30, 40, 50 songs.
Growing pains in a way, right?
Yeah.
As an artist that's trying to go to that next step.
Then I think like get over yourself, Mia. Like you were fine.
Sure, but it's like
but it's still real,
Well, that's the thing. Is like the higher you metaphorically climb up this hill, it's like gravity of it becomes way more real and you have less control of the situation.
Right.
It's a lot easier just being on the ground by yourself, feet, but
pushing through it.
You decide to climb that hill.
That's true.
Right. It gets tough. It gets real steep. It's real steep real quick.
That's true. That is true.
But it's, if you want to do it, that's it. You
exactly.
just gotta surrender to the chaos of it all. And whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
Which is what I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. You don't have a choice. So
it's nice to meet you on this mountain. We're both here just
yes, here we are.
We're taking a break on our
Right.
climb to
No,
have this great conversation.
I'm grateful for it. Thank you.
Of course.
Appreciate it.
The one last thing that I'm curious to talk to you about before we wrap things up today is we've talked about performing and recording, and I don't feel like we've talked enough about like the creative intention behind a lot of your work. And the one thing that is interesting to me to start this conversation about creative intention is the diversity in styles that you have worked in, because it's been, I've heard stuff of yours that is just very more like bluesy that you've mentioned, or just traditional, just
pop,
singing
whatever,
a pretty song, to like more modern pop stuff, to
Right.
stuff that seems to lean more like almost country, to stuff that might lean a little bit more like rock. Right. And it's kind of like, that's not like, as somebody that loves all kinds of music, it's not strange to me. But I'm curious, like for your creative intentions, like what is it about these different things that is like driving you to kind of like be like, pardon my French, but fuck the box.
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah, 100%. I think it comes down to just who I am, because being 26 years old, a female, into whatever, fashion, music, this and that, like why box yourself in? You don't eat like eggs for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I don't think, but if you do, great, but I don't. So why like box myself into thinking that I have to do one genre? But it has to make me feel something. And I think I've just been around so much music and I consume so much of it that I would never think that I have to stick with one thing. But I also know that my voice is like the common thread through it all. So that kind of gives me some kind of hope that like I do have a genre. It's just like me, my voice, I guess. But I think being able to be just like creatively open to whatever we're feeling and to go with that and to not have to question, the business side of things as far as what genre is this? What are you singing about? But I think mainly just going through life and experiencing what I've been experiencing and seeing others experience is really where I pull from.
Yeah.
It's not always, I always think it's like, it's not about me. I'm not singing this for me, but sometimes I'm like, whoa, like that song was really personal, Mia. Like you definitely sang that for yourself. You just don't want to admit it. But I pretend to like push it on my sister and her life or whatever. And I'm like, this one's for my sister, but it's something that I actually went through. So I think being vulnerable now, like recording on my own and being able to say like, yeah, I did go through this and that was me and that was what I did or the choices that I made and being okay with that. But also like, if I want to sing it over like a heavy rock song because I'm really mad at myself still, I'm going to do that. If I feel like crying, I'm probably going to have my mom play the piano. If I feel like getting down to some reggae because I don't care about nothing, I want to dance, I'm going to sing over it. So it's just like, really comes down like to just whatever mood I'm in, I'd have to say.
Yeah, that's the thing with me. It's like, I always have a difficult time interfacing with people that only listen to like one style of music or creatives that only make one style of music. It's like, how can you not interface with like human nature?
Right.
And like experience different feelings. There's not one style of music that covers everything I go through in an average day.
Right.
Let
Exactly.
alone, so it's,
you drive to work with something peaceful on the way home. You're like, I just want to bop. I don't care what's on. Like, I'll listen to rap. I don't care, whatever. But so it's just like, it's just art,
Is there anything stylistically that you have never done that you would like to one day, or that you've always thought about, like, oh, it might be interesting to do this kind of a song?
Probably something a little more like classical, I would say. And as far as like, I mean, I've done like big band stuff, but like something like truly like just a classic, I don't know, vintage, but not with like the horns and the blues and the twang, just something pretty and just like, I don't know, pure and wholesome in some way. I don't know. Like
Christmas
when
album.
I've never done a Christmas album. People always ask for that. I'm always like, ugh. That's probably the one thing I should do. Somebody's like, I could think of your next Christmas song. And I'm like, I don't want to do a Christmas album. But that would be cool because I still listen to it,
Yeah.
But maybe the Christmas album. Yeah.
Sorry.
A classic one. People ask all the time, you don't have a Christmas song out? I'm like, I wrote an original one, but people want to hear, I think I could do it.
I know you could. It's a matter of
Try it.
if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Is that where you're
One night I might, yeah.
Why not?
Because I'm still into it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, especially too if you're at the capacity of just being able to like turn something on and just sing it. Why not?
Absolutely.
It's pretty low stakes.
Exactly. Not something great will come out of it.
And
I'm
also
sure.
too, like, you know, worst case scenario, being in charge of your own distribution. If you decide that you're ever like, you know what? I kind of want to forget that this happened. It's not that hard to just kind of make it disappear.
That's true. Or just don't post about it. Nobody will know. It's at that point. I'm like, if you don't follow me, you'll never see it. So that's always, I always think about that because I'll release something and I'm like, oh, I like didn't do that properly or didn't put the right tag. And then this, and I'm like, who even saw it at that point, you know?
Yeah.
Just to be human. Like,
well, that's the other thing too that is really crucial, I think, about like getting out and performing shows a lot because like all day the past 2 days from playing the shows this weekend, I'm getting constantly tagged in things because people were posting stories of us performing and stuff like that. And it's like exposure going crazy that like I didn't have to put work into.
Exactly.
Other than just being on a stage and performing well enough that somebody wanted to record it.
Definitely.
And then share it with their people.
Exactly.
And then it's, you know, hopefully some of those people will be like, oh, that sounds cool. What is that? Follow.
Absolutely.
And it's just like that
that's
opportunity
organic
to like,
way,
you don't have to like create content. It's like you have it. Just perform it and let people be on their phones.
Absolutely.
The natural spread, the organic sort of nature. That's like the good side of the internet.
Absolutely. There's a lot of good to it. Absolutely.
Speaking of performing, you did mention that you have a show coming up?
I do, yeah. Yes. I'm performing at the brewery in Harmarville or Creighton. It's called Pittsburgh Brewing, I think. I don't know if it's anything related to this.
No, I don't think so.
But it's the Iron City beer distribution thing.
Yeah.
That whole like new, beautiful, you know, on the river.
Yeah.
There. So I'll be there on June 8th, Sunday, June 8th.
Awesome.
So that'll be cool with a full band. My mom's playing. It's been a minute since we performed together, but I'm like, I need a keyboard player. You're learning these songs. You're going to have to learn Imagine Dragons, Mom. Just do it. So she did, and we're going to perform. So it'll be really cool. I'm excited to get on stage, and it's like the rock and regatta weekend. So it'll be cool.
Hell yeah.
I'm excited.
Very, very cool.
Yes.
Well, Mia, thank you so much for coming by today. It was great to meet you.
You too.
I'm glad that we are now in each other's lives.
Absolutely.
And I'm very, very happy to share a little bit of your story.
I appreciate that.
With our listeners.
Grateful to be on Start the Beat.
Yes.
This might be the start to the beat for something new for me, honestly, because I felt re-inspired just by having these conversations and being open to talk about them and performing and creating and why I'm even in this. So I appreciate the opportunity.
Well, I mean, that's the whole reason that this show genuinely exists. It's not really like, I kind of like, I understand and respect when people are like, hey, I have an album coming out. Like, I want to talk about my album or my single. And it's like, sure, we could talk about that. But like, really, like, this is like a human experience type thing. Like, you know, this is like about artists, for artists and creatives to be like, yo, we're not alone.
Right.
It's a struggle, but there is like a positivity to it.
Absolutely.
It's not like
and to like relate to people that are going through it. Like sometimes you feel like you're alone if you're not in those situations with different people. But when I listened to everything that I saw, I was like, oh, wow, I feel the same way. So it's a blessing for sure. So
of course,
grateful to be here. Thank you.
Great to meet you. And that's going to be all of that. You can find Mia Z on, I imagine, social media profiles, not TikTok. I'm not on TikTok either.
Good. See?
This is an anti-TikTok.
There we go.
Maybe that's a little extreme.
It's okay. We're not anti, but maybe a little. I don't know. I lost some relationships for it, but life goes on.
Well, hey, we're not on TikTok, but you can find Mia Spotify, most importantly, or June 7th at Iron City Beer Brewing. Pittsburgh
Rock and
Beer
Regatta
Company. Yeah, you'll find
Just
it.
look on my Instagram.
I don't even know what they call themselves.
I don't
or what
either.
It's
that's why I was like, I don't know. It's a brewery. It's outside. It's on the river.
It's a confusing situation. That's honestly not our problem. That's their problem. They gotta work on that.
Get a new name.
Yeah. Anyways, I'll be back again next week with another episode. Same time, same place, same channel. You know the drill. My name is Brian Sykes House. Start the Beat is the podcast. 2025 is the year. And until next time, take care of yourselves. Take care of the people around you. Peace out. We did it. That was a podcast.
Bye.
Woo! That was great.